Hello, gorgeous. I'm going to tell you a little bit about my story because some of you guys are being victims. All right, I'm going to call you out. Some of you are being victims and using the same excuses that I've been through as reasons why you can't move forward. And I just need to share with you. I got pretty triggered yesterday by somebody's comment. It just really made me realize like how hard I fought, what I've really what it has really taken for me to get here. I think Spirit really needed me to celebrate just exactly how far I've come, how hard I've had to fight, but also to share with you guys because this whole victim mentality that some of you guys have of I can't do this until this happens, or you just don't understand the circumstances that I'm in. Of course, I can't do what you're asking me to do under these circumstances. Well, I just want you guys to know that it's very likely that I've actually been through more and struggled harder than you have, and I've still managed to get here and do all this and share it all along the way, okay? And I'm not saying this to make you feel bad. I'm saying this to empower you, to help you understand that you're only as limited as your mind. 111, thank you, Spirit. You're only as limited as your mind. You know, you're only as limited as the thoughts that you're allowing to run rampant in your brain. You're only as limited as the reality that you're creating that's limited. So if you're sitting around and saying that you're limited, boom, you're limited. If you're sitting around and saying, I don't care what comes along, I am going to tackle it because this is my path and that's all that I can do. Let me just tell you, you will tackle it, okay? There's a certain amount of strength that this road takes that is so far beyond spiritual strength alone, so far beyond emotional strength alone, so far beyond self-confidence alone. It's so many different things, and belief in God and something higher. It's like a smattering of all these different things, a smorgasbord, if you will, that create the kind of reality where you can walk through this portal that I've been talking about, that you can share the journey that you've been on and, you know, still have enough. Some of you guys are really having a pity party about the fact that you're alone. And again, I'm not saying this to make you feel bad. I really want to share with you what I've been through. All right, I already feel the tears coming. Wow, okay. I barely slept last night because I knew that I needed to tell this story so urgently. Okay, first of all, let me preface this by saying that I've spent my entire life up until a certain point surrounded by people. I grew up with 3 siblings. We were all on top of each other all the time. I didn't have my own room until I was out on my own at barely 15. And then I didn't have a room at all. I was homeless. And that's a whole nother story. But just to preface this, so you know that things didn't start out easy for me, first of all. Second of all, I didn't have any space. I was constantly surrounded by people. So to go from that, and even as a 20-something, I was partying. I was always surrounded by a gaggle of people. During the pandemic, I slipped into major isolation. I think I had 2 hugs in an entire year, and they were masked and outside, which means I didn't really enjoy them. They were quick, masked, and outside. And that went on for a couple years. So I think I hugged, I had like 4 hugs in 2 years, and I'm not even really kidding at all. I'm not exaggerating at all. And during that time, Spirit prompted me to start healing my trauma. I took a trauma workshop, not really knowing what kind of can of worms it was going to open. I knew I needed to do it. I met my dad for the first time in my life at 37 during the pandemic. We were masked. We didn't hug. It was very weird. And he insisted on giving me $500. At the time, I was dead broke. I hate that word, but this is in hindsight. And it was during the pandemic. Everything went straight into the ground. My business, gone. I didn't get any help from the government. I'm not complaining, all right? I'm just stating how it was, all right? I didn't get any help at all. I didn't get any of the stimulus money, nothing. Long story. But the point is, I did everything from the ground up. I had to do everything from the ground up while I was in severe isolation, having chronic pain every day, which is something that I've lived with since I was 14, having visions and other dimensional experiences that were completely overtaking my life and making it really difficult for me to like carry on a conversation, let alone walk down the street and meet new people. It was really hard for me to function as a human, just in any basic way. So to try to revamp my business at the time, to be successful again, to make money again, was incredibly difficult. Okay, so that's the scene. Set the scene, okay? During that time, Spirit asked me to walk away from people. So not only was I isolated in that they weren't in my vicinity because of the pandemic, they were no longer in my life at all. And a lot of times these people outed themselves by, like, you know, it's funny, I've never shared this story, but I feel called to share it. My mom told me one day on the phone, she just blurted it out. She started yelling at me, actually, even though I didn't do anything. I called her in a great mood, and she just laid into me because my brother had just had a conversation with her that pissed her off, and she projected on me that we weren't allowed to talk about my past with her anymore. Like, if I wanted to be in her life, we weren't allowed to talk about the past. And I was like, well, then you don't get to have me in your life, because I don't have conditional love. I don't have conditional relationships. And so about 2 years ago, I walked away from my mom and my brother. I also walked away from a lot of people from my past, like way back. And then about 6 months later, Spirit asked me to start analyzing my 30-year friendship, somebody I thought I would grow old with, someone that I considered a soulmate in a non-romantic way. And I took 7 months off from her just to kind of like look at life without her. And during that time, I discovered who I was. I discovered that the people surrounding me had always been kind of in competition with me, had always been trying to make me seem smaller, or I don't know, they were just threatened by my light, and I didn't even know what I had. So I didn't know. I was always people pleasing left, right, and center. I had no idea that I was powerful. I had no idea that I was like beautiful, that I was talented. So when I realized I had to walk away from her, that was hard. But basically, yeah, that 30-year relationship gone, which meant my goddaughter, my relationship with my goddaughter, gone. My sister had a baby, my first niece or nephew. Spirit had me walk away from her too, and my nephew. I'm sorry, my niece. This is personal, dude. I didn't expect to get this personal, but I walked away from everyone, okay? I've been doing this alone. When I say alone, I'm not exaggerating. All right, I don't have somebody in my back pocket. I have a cat, and I don't think I'd be here if he hadn't been here. All right, and I'm not crying because I want you to feel bad for me. I'm crying because I need you to know that I fought through all of this with nobody, literally. Not a friend to talk to, nothing. All right, when I started going through my experiences, all the people from my past started taking 10 steps back from me. So even though in the end I walked away from them, it was because they kind of, all of them set me up to walk away. Like, Spirit really showed me who people were through this process. Okay, so I was dead broke. I had no one. I was having panic attacks. I was suicidal. All right, healing this trauma that was mountains and mountains and mountains beyond what most people have experienced, okay? And I still managed to start this channel 3 years ago, talking about the very beginning little seeds I was planting for self-love, the first approaches I was taking toward talking about mental health and abuse, trauma, outing myself as a person who'd been in an abusive relationship and sharing the shame that I felt through that. I started that channel 3 years ago in the middle of this nightmare, in the smack dab in the middle of it. No one supported me. No one got what I was doing. People thought I was crazy. Again, taking 10 steps back, and I kept pushing. I kept showing up, and no one was watching me either. No one showed up for the channel. No one. And I made content, I'd say about 3 times a week for 2.5 years. Actually, and toward the end, it was like every day for 2.5 years before anyone even started paying attention. All right. For a smattering of time, I had about 100 followers, subscribers on YouTube. And that felt like a pretty big jump. So I just need you guys to know I'm sweating. I'm so upset. And again, I'm not upset about what I've been through. I'm upset because people are limiting themselves based on things that I've already blown past. And I'm not trying to make you feel bad. I'm trying to show you that you can do this. You can do this. And this isn't for everyone, okay? I don't want you guys to start watching this. People that aren't a part of my channel, who aren't chosen ones, who aren't on the path to the new earth, who don't know what I'm talking about, to take these words and think that they're supposed to. No, this is for specific people. You know who you are. Anyone else can just, this isn't for you. But if God has been speaking to you and telling you that you're somebody special, or that you're here for a purpose, or that you're here to lead people, or you're here to help people, and you're making excuses not to do that, I'm here to tell you, it's time to stop making excuses, okay? It's time to stop making excuses. We don't just get to share when things are great, when things are awesome, and we're on top of the world. All right. The whole reason I started my channel was to show people what the messy middle looked like. And you can go back, those videos are still up. You can go back 3 years ago and watch my messy process. I did that on purpose. Not to prove a point, mind you, but to give you the opportunity to see what the process is like. And it's not always going to be pretty. And you're not always going to have what you need. In fact, at no point really have I felt like I had what I needed. But I knew that I was supposed to push forward, and I knew that I was guided. All right, I didn't know that at the very beginning when I started my channel. I don't know what prompted me to do that anyway. But since then, it has become very clear to me that I am guided by so many beautiful energies, by the divine, by angels, by my ancestors. And even when I feel so lonely, I know that I'm not alone, okay? And I know that the reason why I feel so much more in power is because I started sharing. The whole reason why this person wrote what they wrote is because they felt like they couldn't share who they are, 1111, until they had what they need. That's bullshit. It's fucking bullshit. First of all, we need to show people our process. We need to show people that life is messy. We need to set an example. And I'm talking to the healers and leaders, all right? Again, this isn't for everyone. You know who you are. And the person that commented on that knew that I would react this way. And I feel like a part of them wanted me to rip them a new one a little bit. Because that's what I'm here to do. With love. I'm here to shake you awake and say, I'm here to give you strength. I'm here to give you hope. I'm here to show you the struggle. All right? The struggle is real. I've been slogging through it, man, for like 9 years. And that's not an exaggeration. Okay? I lost my relationship. The IRS came after me for something that someone else did that a friend of mine hired. My bad, right? I have to take credit for that. I started having anxiety attacks. Like, I lost all my friends. I lost my house. I'm just telling you, like, I've been fighting so fucking hard for this. I've reinvented myself during that time more than once. Shared so many things with the public. Started playing the handpan. Started sharing music publicly. I have pushed myself. I started reading tarot. I didn't even read tarot 8 months ago. Spirit pushed me to do that. I was resisting so hard, I'll tell you. So hard. And now it's one of my favorite parts of my job. I quit a business that was the most lucrative business I've ever had. Like, I would seriously be rolling in money right now. And I quit it all to do this work for free. And to sometimes be so broke that I have $65 in the bank. And I still fucking show up every day, pretty much. So I don't want to hear excuses, all right? I don't want to hear them. You can have them and think them in your own head, but don't comment them on my page. Don't come at me telling me why you're a special case and you're not being a victim, but you are. But you are, all right? And this part isn't for everyone. But this victim mentality has got to go, all right? I'm not going to pussyfoot around this. I'm not going to pretend and coddle anyone, all right? It's bullshit. Because nobody coddled me, and I'm not saying that if they had, I wouldn't still. What I'm saying is you can't get here if somebody's coddling you. You're a warrior. Do warriors need coddling? Please. It's a joke, okay? You're not a joke, but your ego is the joke here. Because your ego is the thing that's going blah, 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 and you're listening. Again, this isn't for everyone. The story is for everyone, but this part, calling people out, it's not for everyone. You guys don't understand that not only did I slog through it all with nobody, while having chronic pain, while seeing into other dimensions and thinking I was going crazy, while healing all this crazy trauma that was so complex and horrible, but I also have been teaching others how to do this at the same time. Not only have I been showing up, I've been sharing it publicly, the crying, all of it, and teaching at the same time. So I don't want to hear it from those of you that have a few excuses and you can't even be bothered to show up and share your soul gifts. I'm not the right person to complain to, because I'm not going to have any compassion for that kind of victim mentality, and that's exactly what it is. It's a victim mentality. Don't let your ego talk you out of it. All right? If it's fear-based, it's ego. Period. All right? Your divine self, your higher self doesn't sit around going, oh my God, if I don't get this, if I don't do that, that's not your divine self. That's your fucking ego. Learn the difference. Tough love is what I deliver. All right, I deliver a hell of a lot of love, but sometimes it's really tough and it's not for everyone. And if you don't like it, that's okay. There are a lot of other people that can kiss you and coddle you and do whatever you need to make you feel like you can be a victim. That's not what I'm here to do. I'm a warrior teaching other warriors, okay? Warriors don't make excuses to not show up. They show up, okay? Warriors don't make excuses not to help other people pull themselves out of the bullshit because they're too scared of pulling themselves out. That's not a true warrior. And this person said they were a chosen one, which really means that they're a warrior sent by God to lead this new earth. If that's true, the excuses have to go, babe. I'm sorry. They're not going to get you anywhere. Okay? And I'm here to, like I say, rip you a new one because that's my fucking job. And I've been through hell and back. It's just like boot camp. All right? You don't go to boot camp to get kissed on the forehead and tucked in at night. And I'm the most loving goddamn boot camp you'll ever find. And that's the truth. But you go to boot camp to get your ass in shape, to get some discipline, to get some perspective, to, you know, and whatever. This is a metaphor. I've never been to boot camp, so I don't really know. But I know that they don't coddle you, okay? And I don't coddle anyone. I don't care what the circumstances are. I will nurture and I will give love. But if you're full of shit, I'm going to call you out on it. Okay? So back to the story. All right? So there have been times when, even now, I will go months and months without a hug, without really talking to anyone. Okay? I don't think you guys realize I don't have any friends. And it's not by choice. Well, that's not true. It is by choice. I meant to say that. Well, is it though? It's by choice, and that spirit pushed me to remove myself from some toxic people. Whether it be that they didn't have anything to give me and it was imbalanced, whether they were taking me for granted, you know, whether they were actually toxic and abusive, which was the case for a couple of them, whether they were just disrespectful because they took me for granted and they, you know, they didn't see my value. Whatever the reason was, spirit has had me remove every single person. I literally don't have a person to talk to. That's not an exaggeration. And yet I show up every day. And do you want to know what the best part is? I don't feel alone anymore because I have a community surrounding me, even if it is virtual, even if they're only one-dimensional in a comment on YouTube. All right? I have called in my soul family, even though they're not standing next to me yet. I've called them in through doing this work, through sharing my voice, through sharing my story, through doing what God has told me to do this whole time. You will call in your soul family when you start sharing yourself and your gifts. And that's a fact. Okay? It's not going to happen while you're still 1 foot in, 1 foot out, wishy-washy, on the fence, making excuses. It's not going to happen. It's only going to happen when you choose to empower yourself. I love that I sat up right then. That wasn't intentional. When you choose to sit in your full power and say, no, you know, I'm not going to be a victim to this. I'm not going to surrender because this path is not an easy one. And trust me, again, I haven't not only been sharing this, I have been teaching you guys, showing you what it's like to crawl through the trenches. That's not easy, okay? It's hard enough to do this alone in the dark with no one watching. It's so much harder to shine a light on everything I'm doing and tell you why and what happened. And oh my gosh, again, you can go back. I haven't been doing tarot for that long. Most of what my channel has been is that. Go back and watch, okay? And don't make excuses to me about how you can't show up on YouTube and share on a channel. Please, that's basic. All right, that's basic. Please don't tell me about how you can't post on Facebook your poetry or your singing or whatever it is that you happen to be working on, whatever it is that is your soul gift. I don't want to hear it because you know what? It's bullshit and it's an excuse and it's your ego. And I don't indulge ego here. I don't indulge ego. Okay? Because it's not relevant right now. And if I did, I wouldn't be here sharing with you guys. I wouldn't be uplifting you. A lot of you say that you wake up every day looking forward to my videos. A lot of you say that I've gotten you through really hard times. What if I decided not to show up? All right? For those of you making excuses, What if I had decided not to show up, that I couldn't do it, that I was a victim? You know what I mean? No, it doesn't fly. Your soul signed up to do this work. You don't get to sit it out making excuses that other people have already overcome, and then some. All right, and then some. Because like I said, I've probably been through a lot more than a lot of the people that are making excuses. And I get that the people who've been through less have less strength. That's why you're being put through it, to gain that strength. All of this is for a reason. You don't get to cop out, okay? And I think this might be one of the most tough love messages I've ever delivered. It's necessary. There are enough of you who are playing this victim role that it's necessary for me to get on here and speak to you like this and share vulnerably. This is not an easy thing to share, okay? A lot of those details I've never even shared with anyone. So when you picture me, I don't know, picture me differently. Picture me alone. Picture me with very little resources. Picture me slogging through, fighting through for spirit, for you. And know that that's exactly what's happening, because otherwise I would have hung on to my old business. Hell, I was basically working from home. I really wasn't working that hard at all, and I was making more money than I've ever made. I wanted to keep that business and do this on the side. I was still making it a priority. Spirit said no. Okay? Spirit said no. But if I really wanted to cop out, I'd still be running an Airbnb management company, you know? I'd still be living in Portland in a house that cost $900 a month because it was awesome and affordable, and I was comfortable, and I didn't want to have to make something new out of nothing. But instead, I moved away, didn't have idea where I was going to go. Like, it has been you guys have no idea what I've been through. Just picture someone crawling through glass in a dark tunnel for 9 years, okay? And then try to tell me that you can't fucking show up. It's not gonna fly here. And you know what? If this is too tough for you, that's okay. You can go somewhere else, again, where someone's gonna kiss you and coddle you. I kiss you all the time, but you know what I mean. Someone's gonna go, oh my God, no, you poor baby. No, it's not gonna happen here. Sorry, not sorry, all right? But for those of you who are ready to be fucking warriors, those of you who know, who are like, girl, I fucking feel you. Warriors, you're my people. I want to hear from you. I want to hear from you in the comments, okay? You can share whatever you want. I'm not going to ask you to share what you've been through. I'm not going to ask you to share anything, but you can just say, I'm a fucking warrior. All right? I want to know who my fucking warriors are that don't make excuses not to quit a job or a business, that don't make excuses not to walk away from relationships, that don't make excuses not to show up for their soul path, because that's what you're doing. To the person that commented yesterday, your ego is feeding you a million reasons why you can't show up for your soul path, and it's bullshit, and you know it. And that's why you commented on my page, knowing how I handle comments like that, knowing that I always speak the truth, that I always speak the fucking truth, even when it's tough. Even when I come off like a bitch, because I know some of you feel like, what a fucking bitch. That's fine. I'm here to trigger you into healing, but I'm not here to coddle you, okay? And if me speaking to you like this is gonna get you to grow, then this is why I'm doing it, okay? That's what I'm after, growth. I'm not trying to keep you stagnant. I'm not trying to keep you stuck in the same old patterns that you've been doing forever and ever and ever, like all the people around you most likely. Okay? You need to stop listening to those people. You need to remove yourself from those people. And you know what? The other thing is, you're welcome to those people. You're welcome for showing you a different way. You know, instead of making excuses, just get on here and say thank you. Because I know that you watch me. I know that you respect me. If you took the time to comment like that, I know that something I said triggered you into thinking. And then your ego was like, you know, shut it down. My point is, have some fucking perspective. All right? If you had enough energy to write that whole long, like, excuse, complaint of a, you know, message, whatever, comment, then you could have just as easily written a poem and shared it publicly. It's like, how are you choosing to spend your time? Are you going to sit it there and spend it in complaining, in making excuses? Or are you going to focus all that energy on actually showing up? And I don't want you guys to stay if you're not going to show up. I don't want you guys to stay if all you're going to do is complain. I guess this message is also just to deter those people. Go find someone else. You know what I mean? And I'm not telling you to leave because the thing is, I'm only speaking to your egos right now. Nobody knows who I'm talking to unless they think it's for them. And that's why this matters. Because you get to decide right now what kind of person you're going to be. Are you going to show up as a fighter? Are you going to show up as a quitter? Are you going to show up as a victim? You don't get to show up as a victim in my collective. And by that I mean, I'm going to shake you and show you what you're doing. It's not cute. It's not cute. And that's a fact. Being a victim is not cute. Okay? And it doesn't get you anywhere. I don't know how many times I have to say it. Clearly, I have to keep saying it because people just won't stop complaining and being a victim. Oh my God, if I only had this and you don't understand. No, I get it. You guys don't understand what I've been through because I'm not sitting around bitching and complaining about it. I'm too busy overcoming it. I'm too busy being victorious over it. So you guys probably take a lot for granted with me because I'm not sitting around complaining about all the things I'm going through. You probably have no idea what kind of hell I've been slogging through to get here. And let me tell you, it's been like 8 different kinds of hell to get here. And that's not even an exaggeration. Suicidal thoughts, like, so much darkness, so much isolation, so much physical pain, so much emotional pain. And I fucking show up anyway. So I don't want to hear it, okay? And for everyone else, thanks for sticking around and sharing this moment with me. Thank you for understanding why I'm so tough. Thank you for appreciating my tough love. Thank you for being a fucking warrior, all right? Thank you for appreciating the fact that I show up for you every day, no matter what I am going through. All right, and for those that I offended, have fun healing. I triggered some spots just so that I'm shining a light on them. Now you get to go and heal, okay? And it's fine if you don't want to do that on my channel. I understand, okay? But I don't apologize because what I said is necessary and important for your growth. Otherwise, you wouldn't have said it on my channel. Otherwise, Spirit wouldn't have put you in my collective. Period. End of story. All right? Don't give up. You can fucking do this, okay? You're not alone. Even if you look around and feel alone, you're not alone. And what I wanted to say to that person the other day is I did all of this without a person like me guiding me. I didn't have anyone to look to. So technically you already are way ahead of me in that regard because I am showing up. Do your part. Don't make excuses. I'm doing my part. All right? My gosh, what a heavy share. What a really intense share. I'd love to hear your thoughts. All right? Mostly love because this was really hard for me. But I know some of you that were triggered, I guess feel free to share your thoughts too. I'd rather you just go do the healing and keep your ego in check because most likely what your thoughts are going to be are egoic and it's not really productive for anyone. All right? If you have a thought to share that isn't ego-based, I'd love to hear it, okay? And for everyone else that's just too stuck on that ego, that's okay. Go find another leader, all right? With love. Who's going to coddle your ego. Or just stick around and let that ego die because that's really my ultimate goal here. But either way, thanks for sticking it out with me. I basically rolled out of bed, came right over here to do this. I didn't know what was going to come out. It was a lot tougher than I thought it would be in pretty much every sense of the word. So thanks for hanging in there with me. All right? I do love you. And you're not alone. I'll see you next time.